Hello, everyone. Today we are speaking about following the mind or following the heart, especially when it comes to difficult decisions. We often have this feeling that there's either the mind or the heart. And when I was doing the collective reading, tarot reading on Patreon for my patrons, this came to me and I was like, this is too important not to put it into a YouTube video that is more available to a wider audience. So here I am telling you about it. Because I think when we ask ourselves, should I follow my heart? Should I follow my mind? We neglect the fact that both are actually connected. For some reason, when it comes to our body, we in 2026 have acknowledged that our body is connected to everything around us. Our body is influenced by external influences. Our body shows pain because we have certain mental blockages. Our body has certain sensations when we have emotions. And yet we still tend to keep it separate. We still tend to think, yeah, but there's the mind and there's the heart. There's this brain pulling us in one direction, and there's the heart pulling us into a different direction. When in fact, I think there's not such a big juxtaposition. So, where does that leave us? What does that mean? What can you do to still make smart decisions? I think, especially at this time, as I'm filming this, it is the end of May, beginning of June. So we're coming into Gemini season. But even if you're watching this at any other point, you can still tune into the energy of Gemini. It's a wonderful energy because Gemini is all about exploration and about trying all sorts of opportunities, all sorts of hobbies, all sorts of research topics. And I think when you really sit down and dive into that, really lower yourself into a sort of heart led, but at the same time, mind led research mode of, for example, going on random Wikipedia articles or going on Pinterest, scrolling and picking a random post or picking a random post off of your reels on Instagram. When you really do that and look at that post like it is a message for you, and like you want to figure out, am I interested in this? Does it feel right to me in the mind, in the heart? That will lead you somewhere. We always talk about intuition. We always talk about listen to your intuition, do this, do that. But how do you actually facilitate that? How do you make the space to listen to your intuition? And for me, those kinds of practices of randomness that have a lot of a wheel of fortune energy, a lot of like random things coming in, bedazzling you. Um, those things are what really brings you closer to your intuition, to divine messages, to any sort of notifications that you're supposed to get from the universe. And the biggest issue I see with our current attention economy, which is that you just scroll, 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 scroll. You just watch random things. You just imbibe so much information without processing them, without taking them seriously, because there is just too much. And I want to call upon you that if you want to make a decision, if you want to figure out what is your mind doing, what is your heart doing, and why are they pulling you, just sit down and be mindful with the information that are meant for you, with the information that are coming towards you into your life. Instead of looking at 100 reels, just scroll with your eyes closed, sound off, stop at a random one, look at that. It will be for you. You can also ask for a message beforehand. And the beautiful thing is, whenever I do that, or I open a book on a random page, or you could go to a library and look at a random book or look at multiple random books without having a clear goal. The beauty is that you allow your mind and your heart to sort of work together in a flow state. because you are essentially giving your mind something to chew on. You are reading something, you are processing some information, and at the same time, your heart is sitting there and is like, does that affect me? Does that resonate with me? And you're doing this very mindfully, and that is a beautiful thing. So I recommend 100% doing that, because it will clear some pathways in your heart and in your mind, like some blockages that you have. You need to have these practices that bring both together so that they can actually work together. You know, it's like you're bringing two people who've never done a group project together, and somehow you're expecting it to turn out well, when in fact you should probably give them like a little project beforehand. They can get to know each other, and you make better decisions when you've given your heart and your mind a little bit of a group project. And that can, in the end, like maybe you go to a random book and you realize, damn, this actually did correlate with the decision I'm trying to make. Or maybe it doesn't. And maybe it's just something that you're doing for fun, for enjoyment, because you are letting your heart and your mind guide you to a certain piece of information and then going deeper. As I said, I also love doing this with random Wikipedia articles. And then at first it feels random, but then you will notice that point when you happen upon something that inspires you. It can inspire you to go deeper into research mode and go to the next article, go to the next book, or watch a YouTube video about a certain topic. It can inspire you to create art instead of just consuming content. It can inspire you to create things. And both of those things, that is such a beautiful, beautiful connection between the mind and the heart. Wouldn't you agree? Like, I feel like I've just had this epiphany for some reason, because I definitely used to sort of think of them as separate. But when I think about those things that bring me joy, the thinking, the writing, the reading, then it's both. It's the mind taking in things and the heart relating to it. Even if you read, I don't know, a fantasy book, a fictional book, or even if you read a nonfiction book, you will notice that your heart goes into resonance with it and sees things that pertain to you and that are important to you if you do it consciously. And that is really the key. And that kind of conscious consumption unlocks a sort of new level of creativity in you. And it kind of takes away that whole juxtaposition of, will I go with the heart or will I go with the mind? Because you understand both are connected and both are able to work together. And there's one more thing, especially if you are struggling with decisions or you don't know what you want to do. I have seen a study recently that showed that those people who just made a decision were happier than the ones who made a decision and were able to change it afterwards. So there was one group of people who was able to make a decision, and they were told beforehand, look, you can still change it. After 5 days, you can still change your mind about this and change it. And the other group, they were told, this is the ultimate decision, you cannot change it afterwards. And the group that took the ultimate decision and did not then spend 5 days thinking, should I have gone the other way? I can still change it. Those people were happier no matter what decision they made. So just make any decision. Just make any decision. And especially if you go into a flow state of working with your mind, with your heart, with your body, with everything, one decision will feel more right. And if it doesn't, you'll just have to go randomly. The wheel of fortune comes back in, you know? And even when you make a random decision, it's going to benefit you. It's going to lead you down a path that is beneficial for you and that you can learn from. And you can still take a different path 1,000 times over in the course of your life. But I know decisions always feel so final, but just making a decision and just walking that path gets you more. All right. those were the key messages that I had for you. I would really love to hear what you think about the whole mind and heart thing, whether because there was this really popular image going around the internet where there's the brain pulling into one direction and the heart pulling into another, like very realistic paintings, I think it was, of a heart and a brain. And we got to just stop that. Just stop thinking that they are so fucking separate and bring them together a bit more, bring them into harmony, and that will give you new ideas, new bursts of creativity that you probably hadn't seen coming. Because sometimes we're so blocked, we're just reading, we're just consuming, but you could read a scientific study and be inspired to do a painting based on it. You could read a random book in the library and be inspired to research something that will end up being your next field of work or your career. You could read a random Wikipedia article and unearth something that has to do with your childhood or with the history of your country or your family or whatever it is. You will be guided to the right information. And when you use your brain to take it in and your heart to create something from it and to resonate with it, only good things can come from that. That is the key central message. On my Patreon this month, I decided that I will go deeper into this, especially with regards to the idea of pleasure and finding pleasure in creativity, finding pleasure in doing things rather than thinking that everything is useless, because the world is burning and everything we do can feel a little bit nonsensical. But trying to bring more pleasure into your life is really important, and everything I talked about here is part of that. So if you want to go deeper into that, on my Patreon I will create journaling prompts, affirmations, an essay for this sort of topic, and also the collective reading. A lot of the things that I said in the collective reading, I have to admit I said here, but if you're into tarot, it's still going to be very, very interesting because I'm going through the cards and you can see how I read them. And it's just a beautiful process that you can be a part of. So thank you so, so much for watching. I'm really grateful. Subscribe, like this video, that does help. And I hope that I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.